Wednesday night, 9 o'clock, and you know what that means here on New Twist Radio. It's time for the Check Swing podcast with my man Santa, myself, and Mr. Ray Baseball himself, Mr. R. Hunter. No stranger to New Twist Radio, as you already know. What's up, fellas? Welcome back.
Thank you for having us.
Appreciate it.
And I believe the proper pronunciation is Re Baseball.
That is it.
Ray Baseball. Gotcha. Gotcha. Well, like I like to start every show here on New Twist Radio, I like to ask my people how you been. So, fellas, how y'all been?
Age before beauty, my friend.
Oh man, well, you know, I am pretty mother f. Oh, my fault. We on the wrong
show. Wrong show.
Oh man, I can't complain, man. It's been a good week so far. It's almost baseball weather outside. You know, we had a few days where it hit that 70 mark. We got a little bit of snow this morning, but you know, it's almost baseball season. I'm excited. The weather's changing. It's getting beautiful outside. It's the time of the year when we should be looking at baseball, basketball, and NFL draft. But right now, it looks like we're only looking at basketball and the NFL draft. But I'm sure we'll save that conversation for later. How you been?
There's plenty of college baseball and good college baseball that's going on.
I agree.
But yeah, I've been good. The cold kind of hit the arthritic knees pretty well today.
The arthritis.
Because I was out there coordinating. Trying to close on this house. We put in a bid. They accepted the bid.
Congratulations.
And we're going through, the hardest part now, which is trying to close. And we went through the inspections today, and we gonna have some discussions later. So, yeah. So I mean, it's part of the process, and hopefully, everything will work out the way it should. So, other than that, it's all good.
Time for concessions. Awesome. Jay, how you been, Jay?
Been good, man. Been good. Can't complain, man. The baseball season started for high school this week in Pennsylvania officially. So we started, our practices Monday. 20 some odd guys coming out to play for us, most that we've had in quite some time. Excited to be back, 2 years gone, 2 years out of the high school game, from where I coach. I'm excited to be back. I'm excited to get back out there and guide these boys and these young men and, make them better baseball players and better men. And that's my goal. So.
And you got your first wound of the season.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I can say yeah because officially the season, started Monday. So yeah, I can say yeah. Yeah. I took one I took one off the calf muscle from about 20 feet away.
Exactly
what it is.
Did it have some velocity to it?
Yes, it did. Yes, it did. I wasn't expecting it, but yes, it did. Caught me by surprise, but I'm just glad I wasn't sitting 2 more inches to the left, as I explained to Miguel earlier today.
Would have popped the hang down.
Listen, this would have been a different type of show. I'm gonna tell you right now.
Speaking in soprano, alto.
Yeah, it'd have been different. So yeah, that's where we stand, man. I'm looking forward to the season. We're back at practice tomorrow. We had that great 70-degree day. That was fun. That was awesome. And now, back into the March type weather, and just got to deal with it. But I'm not bringing them inside. Miguel, I know how much you talk about me when I want to be outside, or I don't want to be outside because it's cold. Okay. I'm only going to be inside if it rains. That's it. At least until later.
Until you get too cold.
Until I get, until I'm over not being inside. Until I'm over it. But it is what it is. I actually didn't bundle up but so much. I had a cut off sleeve hoodie the other day and my
Belichick
jacket. So I was good.
Belichick.
Yeah, Belichick style. Belichickian. But so we're gonna start off like Ardot said, we don't have baseball right now to watch. And there's a reason for that. Of course, if you're watching this show, then that's because There's a lockout going on. The owners have locked the players out. They're not letting them in. They won't let them in, and some of them left their cell phones and their AirPods in there, and they can't get them. Not going to let them in. So we have some updates on that. And Miguel, I'll let you take it from here as far as the updates are concerned, because you've been giving us the updates every week. So what's going on with it now?
I mean, at this point, it's really kind of closing the gap on the financials, on the economic side of things. That's really kind of the stickling points. Closing up the minimum salary, the competitive balance tax, and like all that other, the pre-arbitration bonus pool. But they still are far apart to the point where they canceled more games today. So there still is, a gap that is insurmountable to the point. I still have a hard time with this. Like the game is struggling, is going through a hard time, with fans and viewership and stuff like that. And you're right on the cusp of something great, and to do this, it doesn't make any sense to me. And then and they even made some concessions to the point where the great Joey Gallo gets his wish, and they're banning the shift, which I'm completely destroyed about. I just think now instead of hitters hitting 220, they're going to hit 230.
I rest my case. It sounds like I won that case last week. I appreciate that. The Players Association needs to send me a check.
In the amount of the 30 million gap that they're,
I'll settle out of court for $20.
I'll settle out of court. That's good.
I'm not like I said last week. I'm not a big fan of them taking the switch out of the game. But the way that they have it, the way that they said you can do it, I'm actually a fan of that, because now you got to make some strategic decisions. Now it's not just loading up the one side with infielders. Now you got to make some strategic decisions. Am I going to pull an outfielder up? Am I going to pull an outfielder? Oh, what am I going to do? So it's going to take some strategic decision making, and put a little bit of strategic decision making into the game. Now, I wanted to ask you this, Miguel, because I thought about it after the show last week. Mm-hmm. We had a show months ago, sometime last year, about athleticism in baseball. Mm-hmm. And people may not consider this athleticism, but I want to ask you your opinion. Being that let's take Joey Gallo, okay? Every time I hear that name, I think of my cousin Vinny. But anyway, let's take Joey Gallo. He's a pull hitter. They play the shift on him. You would think a simple answer would be take it the other way, right? Mm-hmm. Do you think not being able to take the ball the other way it comes from a lack of athleticism?
No, not necessarily. I think it goes back to my argument about it goes back to mentality. What are you willing to do to adapt and to change? So I like to always do a comparison like Ryan Howard versus Mike Schmidt, right? There's a video out there from like 1987. It's a story of Mike Schmidt hitting his 500th home run. In the beginning of it, he's actually mentoring this group of young guys going up through spring training, these AA, AAA guys. And he was telling the story how like around 1983, 84, his batting average started to drop. So he decided to make a change in his batting stance where he closed up a little bit more and he started chopping down on the ball. The change added 3 more years to his career and an MVP. So he decided late in his career that he wasn't ready to retire, but he made the necessary change to keep the career going. Fast forward to Ryan Howard, Rookie of the Year, MVP, World Series champ. Once they figured out all you had to do was throw him a curveball at any point in the count and not throw a fastball, he was like, I'm done. That's all I got. You know what I mean? If Albert Pujols is still playing today at 68 years old, whatever he is, and still semi-producing,
why could 102 years old?
Say again?
102 years old.
There you go. He knows. He knew Moses when he was a baby.
Who would you consider more gifted athletically, Mike Schmidt or Ryan Howard?
Oh, definitely Mike Schmidt.
Would you equate
Hit it. So
athleticism? Would you equate the ability to make adjustments to athleticism?
I think it brings
Not that it's one and one, because you don't have to be athletic to make adjustments,
right.
but the fact that you cannot make an adjustment, does that um does that point to a lack of athleticism?
I think it points to a lack of effort. Go to Barry Bonds, right? Barry Bonds was not. He didn't have a strong arm. You know what I mean? But he was one of the best defensive left fields. But he had a weak arm. But his technique, the way he went after the ball in the corner, the way he would turn, fire, and throw, get the ball in. He never made errors, but he wasn't a great. He wasn't like a top 10 outfielder, but
He
he
wasn't
did
Ichiro.
things. He adjusted.
Mm-hmm.
Even he was already a Hall of Famer before the steroids. To say what you want about that, but he continuously got better. You dig what I'm saying? Ryan Howard could have gotten better. He could have shortened his swing. He could have got rid of the long loop. He could have done all those things and prolonged his career and even helped the teams, whether he was stay with the Phillies or perform with the Braves. But that's an inside thing. That's a heart thing.
Well, let me ask you this, because I would think, and Ryan, you step in on this too. I would think that as a professional, you're trained. You have training at some point on your journey of hitting the ball to all sides of the field. Does not being able to adjust to hit against the shift, is that a product of robotic training?
We've seen it. We've seen it all. I mean, they get into these cookie cutter systems where Ryan Howard is the perfect example of the generation that was built on exit velocity and launch angle. And that's what was taught. You can go back to these older hitters who were taught to hit the ball where it's pitched, to go with the pitch. That was strategy back then. And I think it kind of goes towards coaching and what the coaching philosophies are. Like you see these organizations built around analytics now. And those major analytics are launch angle and exit velo for a hitter.
Yeah, and to piggyback on that, the only thing is, if you remember the last couple of years under where Ryan Howard played, we actually fired 3 or 4 hitting instructors, right?
Yes.
We fired Milt Thompson, we fired the 2 guys after that, but Ryan Howard stayed the same. So at first, I think the solution was, it has to be coaching, because under Milt Thompson, blah, 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 blah. Milt Thompson was going to say, well, wait a minute. Now Jimmy Rollins is popping up all the time. So what's the change? You know what I mean? So I think that it was part of it was Charlie Manuel had the perfect team for the bloop and the blast concept. And that team just shot down quick, because once the league caught up and was like, all right, we know how to pitch to that, then we had no solution.
I'm glad you brought up Jimmy Rollins.
That lends itself to the analytics.
Right.
They learned exactly how to pitch it, and there was no adjustment on those hitters' ends.
Yeah,
Jay, what were you going to say?
If I'm a trainer and I'm training pitchers, and I know that everybody is training robotically, I'm going to pitch. I'm going to train to pitch to get those outs. But Miguel, you mentioned Jimmy Rollins, and the interesting thing about Jimmy Rollins, when he was one of the first non-sluggers, I guess you can say, to have the philosophy of the launch angle and the the launch angle and basically being robotic. He was a leadoff hitter that wanted to hit home runs and hit a lot of pop-ups because of that. And they got him into a lot of trouble. But now you see almost everybody doing it now. At the time it was just for the Ryan Howards, the Barry Bonds, the Sammy Sosa, the big sluggers. Then it became the smaller guys, the guys that weren't home run hitters. And you saw Jimmy hit a lot of home runs his MVP season. So that leads to a question: which way is better?
For the game or for entertainment? It all lends itself to what you think is better. So
What
the
makes you a better?
league,
Which one makes you a better baseball player?
uh, what makes
And
me
of
a
course,
better
this is opinion. This is not. There's no right answer.
learning an all-around game makes me a better baseball player.
Mm-hmm.
Hitting for launch angle and home runs sells more jerseys, which in
Mm-hmm.
turn makes me more valuable to an organization, which extends
Mm-hmm.
my career.
Mhm.
So
Business.
it's all
That's
about whether
business.
it's the business of baseball or the
That's a business
actual
sense.
game of baseball.
So as an owner, Miguel, before you answer, I'm sorry. So as an owner, you have to make the decision of I can get the slugger who's going to sell me a lot of jerseys, or I can get this all around player that I might be able to get some rings. So it's like I might only get one ring, but I can sell millions and millions of jerseys.
Yeah.
So
And I
that
think
go ahead,
now
Miguel.
oh yeah, Miguel
No,
hop in.
go ahead. Finish. Go ahead. Yeah, finish what you were gonna say.
No, I just think when you think of organizations and you think of these ownership groups, they're in it. When you think back to the movie Major League, you the the organization was not concerned about the product that they put on the field.
Mm-mm.
You can even look at teams right now, like Miami, like Baltimore. They're
Pittsburgh.
not
Pittsburgh
overly
Pirates.
Pittsburgh. They're not overly concerned with the product that they put out on the field because at the end of the day, they are still going to make money. They're not worried about whether we're attracting the best players or we're attracting players that play the game right because we're still turning a profit. That's going to start to change now.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Miguel, go ahead.
Yeah. No, and I think that was kind of where I was going. Is that it's based on what's selling at the moment. And I think we're at that cusp now where people are actually verbally complaining about the launch angle and about analytics. And here's the thing that I've learned about analytics, especially from even the organization that you're still at, Justin. I think that a lot of it
We
has
think
to do. No. I didn't mean that as a slight. Because I learned a
it's an
lot.
inside joke. It's an inside joke.
Right. But
Please don't dock my pay.
no. Because what I learned is that it really takes good coaching and good manager to really break down what analytics really is. Because I think what happens is like you have like the Gabe Kapler who when he was here in Philly, he did everything by the numbers, by what analytics said. You can do that in spots, but if you look at the teams that have won championships, and I point to, I guess, kind of the Dodgers and maybe Boston prior to the cheating, um, their approaches were different in the playoffs. Because you saw like a two-strike approach, you saw a little bit of choking up. You know what I mean? So I think analytics can get you to a point, but I really think that analytics is really designed as a measurement of progress versus an actual strategy of play. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
That's how it should be used. Like we should be able to say, all right, in these innings, he tends to when he goes third in the order, he tends to, lose something on his fastball, stuff like that. So then you make a decision based on that. Not in Game 7 of the World Series. Another conversation for another time. But I think that analytics in spots, if used correctly, gives you back the data that you need to make an informed decision. But at the end of the day, after the seventh inning, a coach has to make a gut decision on certain things. It can't just be what the numbers say because it could say that Billy can hit 345 after 7 innings, but if you just saw Billy throwing up because he's deathly nervous, I'm not putting him up there. You dig what I'm saying? That's a coaching gut decision. Analytics be damned. You know what I mean? So I
If
think that
But question for you, Miguel. Who was manager of the year last year?
I'd be Gay Kapler.
That's going to be the argument for every owner.
Right. But here's the thing. No, and I agree with that. But even in as the season progressed, he started doing things that were more baseball decisions and less analytical. He did it a lot in the beginning, but he started. I think the mold was broken when he started to see, okay, there's something you can make those baseball decisions. It doesn't have to be 100% analytical, and you can
There,
still win.
there's got to be a good mix. There's got to be a solid
Yes,
mix of
absolutely.
statistically, this is in our favor, but do we do it?
Analytics lost Tampa Bay the World Series.
Here,
I
here.
agree.
Let me put this out there. A quick statement, yes or no answer, however you want to answer it. If a team is going to manage their baseball team by analytics, then there's no need for a manager.
That's true because
If you're
all
not
you
going to
need
let the have the manager make
just
managerial decisions, what's the point of having a manager?
just post the iPad and then just absolutely.
It's a video game at that point.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I need analytics in my video games. I need to figure something out because I keep losing. Or maybe I'm using the analytics wrong. I don't know, but
I'll give you a tutorial. I'll hook you up.
oh man,
You know,
listen. I'll take anybody on this panel on, and they know it. Miguel cheats.
No, I just know how to throw a 2-2 slider in the dirt. That's all. I know how to throw that changeup.
Miguel gets the luckiest home runs I've ever seen in my life. 108 miles an hour. Swinging late and that thing goes out of the stadium. I don't know. Anyway, I'm lying, but anyway. Well, that's an update of the MLB right now. So Morgan, I think they're down to about 162 games going to happen.
Nope.
Well, now they're saying
that
Jackie
we
Robinson
already cut out. Yeah.
Jackie Robinson Day may be in jeopardy.
Because it's basically 2 weeks now.
Four
series now.
Yeah, 4 series.
So it's about 2
series.
weeks. That's about 2 weeks right there. So, yeah, okay. Well, it is what it is. But with that being said, today or over the last couple of days, this week, some major moves made in the NFL world. One that directly affects one of our panelists here.
Put it on the screen. Put it on the screen. Put it on the screen.
Okay, I'll put it on the screen.
Today has been Christmas. It is Christmas.
So there you go, right there. That's one of the moves. The
best move.
This move I really don't understand from the Washington perspective. I don't get it.
I completely get it. I completely get it from a Washington perspective.
I don't get it at all.
It makes sense.
Why? Explain to me. Tell me. Convince me that this makes sense for Washington.
Can you tell me who Washington's quarterback was?
Yeah, Heineken.
Now,
that a dream?
Heineken was the quarterback.
Uh-huh.
Is he better than Carson Wentz?
Yeah.
You can't even say that with
based off the last 2 seasons. Based off the last 2 seasons, yeah.
I heard the lack of confidence in his voice.
Has Carson Wentz been in the playoffs the last 2 seasons?
No. Did Taylor Heineke get them to the postseason? No.
But he played in it.
He played in it because they didn't have any other option.
And he went toe to toe with Tom Brady though.
And he took
L. Went down to the wire with Tom Brady.
And he took an L.
Now this year,
has he ever in his career played MVP caliber football?
No.
Now we know that Carson Wentz.
Hold on.
Somewhere inside that psyche.
Hold on.
I'm selling it now that he's gone.
I'm muting him now. Because what he's doing right now. Let me tell you what he's doing right now.
We're muting.
Let me tell you exactly what he's doing.
Oh my goodness, the power.
He is giving me the same argument I gave him when Carson Wentz went to Indianapolis and he didn't like it. I'm going to go ahead and unmute him now. I just recognized the words that he was saying.
Right.
And I said, they sound awful doggone for me.
Right. You are the first person that Justin ever put in timeout. I've never experienced that in the 2 years on the show.
I thought this was around the horn. I got muted.
The early days of 10-7, I used to mute everybody.
I love it.
So, I don't believe in Carson Wentz. I just don't. I believe that his better days are behind him. I do still believe he's better than Taylor Heineke. I do believe he's better than Sam Ellinger. I don't believe he's better than the options that we could potentially bring in. Uh, I've made it clear. I actually tweeted Jim Irsay earlier. I told him two moves that he needs to make. He needs to sign Jameis Winston, and he needs to sign Jacoby Brissett. Those are the two quarterbacks that I would like to see in
Either
Indianapolis
or,
uniforms.
because
Both.
you want
So
both of them.
we've had Brissett as a backup in Indy for 5 years now. Well,
I know.
until we let him go to Miami, and he
Right.
was a backup in Miami.
Hmm.
We bring him back in as a serviceable number one until Jameis Winston is 100% ready. We know he had the surgery. We
Oh,
know
that's
that
right.
he may not be there day one, but you bring him in for the future.
He
Jameis
probably
Winston,
doesn't play till the end of October.
right. I do believe Jameis Winston is a serviceable NFL quarterback. He led the league in touchdowns. He led the league in passing yards. It just so happened that at the same time, he also led the league in interceptions. But I also believe that that was a Bruce Arians issue, who also elevated Tom Brady's interception numbers because he passed the ball 3 out of 4 downs. It was what it was. If I'm a defender and I know that a ball is going in the air 3 out of 4 times, I know what to play. I know exactly what to play. Everybody's talking about Jimmy G. I feel like we're going to have to give up one. We're going to have to give up the picks that we just got. We don't have a first round pick. We gave up our second round pick to get 2 second rounders in return. Uh, we are going to have to give up a piece, and I'm 100% sure that that piece is on defense if we want Jimmy G, because it's got to be a sign and trade deal as opposed to a free agency deal, because Jimmy G is still under contract. We've got the most cap room in the NFL. Go spend it on a free agent quarterback. Go spend it on 2 free agent quarterbacks. If you want, let Sam Ellinger play opening day. We got to take a risk. We can set ourselves up for a draft pick next year. I don't care if we want to set up and wait for draft picks for Arch Manning. But we got to do something. Jay, I see your mouth moving,
Sorry
but
about that. I was muted so y'all couldn't hear me opening the cards. I said y'all might want to do something to get some of them draft picks back, which y'all did. You did get a couple draft picks from Washington.
yeah,
But I still don't understand why Washington. I mean, the funny thing about professional sports, teams always think they can fix somebody, and I'll be honest with you, Carson Wentz, that 2017 season
he's gone.
was amazing. He was amazing in the 2017 season. Up
That
until
was
he
his
got
peak.
hurt.
Do you believe that was his peak?
Yeah.
By you saying that, you're asking me, do I think he's done?
But you know what's always going to be the question mark. He has not been the same since trying to come back from he's been injured every single year. So I think what really
Since
messed up
college.
since college,
Really,
Since
he
right?
played the whole
college.
season this year, though, didn't he?
Yes, he did.
But remember, he didn't like twist both ankles in one of the
Yeah,
games
he
early.
sprained both ankles in one game
Like
on
how
one play.
that's if for nothing else, I wouldn't even touch that. Just how do you sprain both
Listen,
ankles? You know what I
hold
mean?
on. In his defense,
Justin has done it.
I once dislocated both my thumbs on one play in basketball. Yes, I did. I dove on the ground to get the ball, and I went to squeeze the ball. I misjudged where I was, and whatever I did, I hit it, and both my thumbs dislocated. Popped out, popped right back in.
That sounds intriguing and disappointing at the same time.
All at the same time.
I don't know the disappointing part of it. I was pretty happy that they popped back in on their own. I didn't have to go somewhere and have it pop back in.
At least you didn't tear both of your hamstrings running 10 yards, so you don't have to worry about that. A famous morning radio host did that. Remember
Oh, what was it? Not Gargano.
Cataldi?
Cataldi. Yeah, no, I didn't know
Yeah, that guy.
Cataldi.
I thought y'all was talking about me. I was about
No,
to
no
say, hey,
sir.
stop talking about me like that. I only tore one of
Silly.
Well,
them, and it was 20
that
feet.
wasn't the only move. That was just the most important move to this show. I
Yes.
really don't understand. Like, I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't. I get why Washington did it. They probably think he still has got something left in him.
I
He
don't.
might have an axe to grind against Philly and wants to come in and beat Philly. And if you can beat Philly twice, that puts you in a good position because New York Giants are weak. Dallas, we never know what they are. So it puts Washington in a good position if that works out. They did need a starting quarterback. Taylor Heineke, he wasn't the guy, right? Um,
I
but
was
that
just
being
surprised.
said, I'm assuming that they weren't in play for anybody else. But the person that you decide to go with is Carson Wentz.
Well,
And I
so
was
the
surprised.
so the word was that Russell Wilson had already declined the trade because Washington had a lot more to give up than Denver.
Well, Russell Wilson came out and said he didn't want to play on the East Coast.
Right.
Yeah.
So that was
Well,
that.
they were saying that the talk was already out there for the deal, and that's why he came out and said it.
Yeah, because he had a no trade clause anyway. So
Right.
Right.
it is what it is.
But
But
for
speak,
Washington to take they took on the whole salary too. The whole.
That was the dumbest thing that they could have ever done.
I mean, you had
yeah,
until.
because Philly, even when he left Philly had to eat some of
Philly
that.
still ate money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now Philly and Indy are off the hook for that
Mhm.
ridiculous contract. And
Thanks, guys. Thanks, Comanches. What they call commanders? Thanks, commanders. Thanks,
commandos.
commandos.
I keep calling
We
them. I keep calling
we
them.
are commanders.
I keep calling them the Commodores.
Yeah, I keep thinking Commodores too. I don't know why. Um, but another move that was made, another major move that was made, Russell Wilson, as previously stated, declined getting traded to the East Coast and decided to go into the AFC West, into a very tough division. The AFC West is going to be quarterback for the Denver Broncos now. So, what do you guys think about this move? Interesting to me, but what you guys think about this move? Now, I personally I don't follow Denver much, so I know they had Bridgewater. I know they started off really good and ended up
You,
really bad,
you
but
you don't want to go to the East Coast, but you want to go to Denver. I
You
mean,
want
I
to go
guess.
to the AFC West, which is literally the toughest division in football.
yeah,
It's Denver.
Denver's
Well,
actually I've heard
well,
Denver is a great city.
well, I think Sierra wanted the recreational leaf.
You you gonna get it in Seattle?
That is true. That is
Yeah,
Maybe,
true.
I was thinking the same thing. But I'm like,
well,
they got it in Seattle.
there's less atmosphere, so maybe it hits different in Denver. You know, you're closer to the
Ah,
sky. You're closer to the
Huh.
sky. You know what I mean? I don't know. I don't know.
Hmm.
I've
makes
heard
sense.
Miguel,
some rumors.
Miguel knows
You're
the
already a
science
mile
behind
high.
that.
I've heard a thing or two.
You're
That
starting off a
mile
mile high, right?
mile high. Hmm. But no, so you're in a division with Patrick Mahomes, Justin Herbert, Derek Carr, and you step in as the fourth quarterback in that division. Where would you rank him among those four?
Probably 1B, 1A or 1B.
Who's your 1A?
Got to be
Mahomes.
Mahomes.
Almost, yeah.
Mahomes, yeah.
Now, do you
Because
think that Russell?
Herbert hasn't showed enough yet. Like I can't
Yeah,
put
I
him
don't think so.
in front of either one of those guys.
But do you think
And
his?
Carr's good for giving you a run of 5, 6 games maybe, but he hasn't put together a whole season where we're like, yeah, he's definitely that dude.
But so we also have to think, and we have to think without our now retired Tom Brady lenses. So Russell Wilson has been in this game for a decade.
Mm-hmm.
How many quarterbacks last 15, 20 years in the league now? I
The
mean,
good
we
ones.
we 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 saw Tom Brady do 20. We saw
Aaron Rodgers going into 18.
I could think of now, and I don't want to say how many can actually play that long because we see quarterbacks play that long. But how long do we see them play at an extremely high level?
He will not play that long. You're talking to Tom Brady's, the Aaron. He will not play that long the way he plays the game
Right,
currently on his feet. But
right.
we do know a lot of that had to come from him running for his life in Seattle.
And I don't think it gets any better in Denver.
That and that's
I
what doesn't
assume it.
make
I really
sense.
don't know. I don't
They
know.
they don't have much of an offensive line. I I don't believe that their offensive line is any better than what he had in Seattle. And his chief complaint in Seattle was his offensive line. He's
Here's
not
my
going to have a
biggest
weapon like DK Metcalf either.
right here. This is my biggest gripe against why he allowed that trade to happen. You're going to a team that was basically selling last year.
Yeah,
If you think about it, they were selling all, they were making trades, selling Von Miller, Super Bowl,
they're
just won the Super Bowl with the Rams.
right.
I that's when I'm not. I guess it was either Denver or go back to Seattle, and I guess he just did not want to go back to Seattle. I mean, he didn't want to go to the East Coast.
I mean, Indianapolis isn't too far from
I was gonna say.
Yeah,
Denver.
I'm
I
kind of
mean,
surprised that didn't happen, but I mean,
I don't think we didn't have the capital.
I'm thinking I'm
We already
thinking
gave up first round picks. We don't have anything left that's enticing to get a Russell Wilson caliber quarterback.
okay, and I'm thinking some of the other. Let me
But
see.
you don't want to go to Carolina.
If you don't
He
want to go
doesn't
to East Coast,
he doesn't want to go to Miami. Another one that was floated out there, but nothing materialized, and now I'm sure he's glad that it didn't happen. Uh, Atlanta. There was some talk about him heading to Atlanta to be the successor for Matt Ryan, who obviously doesn't have much longer in the NFL.
no, he doesn't. His career is definitely in the twilight stages. Um, I mean, I for one have always said I thought he was a bit overrated.
And
And
now
he's a
he
guy
doesn't
from the
have
area,
Calvin
so it's
Ridley.
not biased right there. I just, huh?
I said now he does not have Calvin Ridley.
No, he doesn't. He doesn't have Calvin Ridley, and he lost Julio last year.
Right. You lose Julio, you lose Calvin Ridley. Who you throwing to now?
Does he retire a Falcon or does he go to another team because he still wants to play?
He has to retire a Falcon. He has to.
You don't think
I, th-
anybody will pick him
I
up? You
think
don't think the Jets will pick him up like they pick up everybody else?
I think he would not have a problem getting a job because I do still believe that he's one of the top 20 quarterbacks in the league.
You taking him in Indiana,
No.
Indianapolis?
Nope.
Me either.
Maybe Washington will take him.
but but
Apparently,
but is he better than Taylor Heineke? Yes.
Oh yeah.
I
If
mean, I don't know. They've had similar results the last couple of years. I don't know.
if they called in Houston, he's better than whoever they have at quarterback now. Tyrod Taylor, I believe.
Yeah.
In Houston,
Yeah,
Tyrod Taylor, yeah.
he's better. He's better present day than Tua. He's better present day.
Who are you talking about?
Matt Ryan.
Okay, Matt Ryan.
He's better present day than whoever they have on Carolina. All of them. I mean, Sam Darnold for Carolina. He's better than Sam Darnold. He is better than Sean Hill in New Orleans. I could think of maybe 10 quarterbacks that he's better than right now, but that still doesn't make him a winner.
Yeah, I can't make too much of an argument there with you on that. Is he better than Derek Carr?
No, he's not better than Derek Carr. He's better than Daniel Jones. He's better than the rookie that's in with the Jets.
I forgot.
He's better than he's a rookie. I couldn't even remember his name to save my life.
He's a Jet, so
He's
whoever it is.
he's better than Mason Rudolph with the Steelers. He is better than my man for the Browns. What's it, Baker Mayfield?
Mayfield?
Yeah.
Ooh.
I could
Like I feel like right now, I feel like you're just picking on the guys that just ain't that good yet.
but that's what I'm saying. So what I'm saying is right now, does he come
Right
in and
now,
do a better
I
job
don't
than
know if I'm
them?
taking Matt Ryan over Baker Mayfield. Right now,
Well, we see what happens
now
when
mind you, I don't believe in either one of them, but I
if
do
I
like
had
Baker Mayfield's commercial.
if I had to take a quarterback today and my choices were Baker Mayfield and Matt Ryan, I'm taking Matt Ryan. I'm
I'm
not
taking
going to
Mayfield.
say I'm not going to say that, and I always, we always do the same
Let me make it.
hypotheticals.
Can I make an amendment to that?
Yeah.
If I have to take a quarterback today and I don't have a lot of weapons, I'm taking Mayfield. If I got plenty of weapons, I might take Matt Ryan.
Why? If you don't have any weapons, why you take Baker Mayfield? We saw that story. That story
And
just happened.
he had
we saw
weapons.
that story of Matt Ryan too. And Matt Ryan to me looked at the eye test looked a lot worse than Baker Mayfield. It just so happened that he had Julio for some of them years.
Yeah, but Baker Mayfield had OBJ when he was.
Yeah, but I mean OBJ is good, but
He had
OBJ in
OBJ and
Cleveland,
Jarvis Landry.
Right.
OBJ in Cleveland was not OBJ from New York.
He had OBJ and Jarvis.
Well, all right.
Whoops.
Somebody came in and swept him away.
He got muted by the FCC.
And look, that wasn't me. That
Or
wasn't
Baker
me. I didn't take him out. I promise.
Baker Mayfield is watching.
Baker Mayfield didn't like what he said.
Mm.
Miguel, your thoughts on those moves? I don't know if we got your thoughts on that.
I mean, no. I'm wondering how it affects the Eagles now officially pursuing Watson, because now you got the draft capital to get Ray Baseball's back. He was muted by Baker Mayfield, who was watching from Cleveland. But yeah, I'm wondering, how this all pans out for the Eagles, because we technically have the draft picks, if need be, to get Watson. And I know there's all the legalities and stuff, and I believe that he's due in court in a couple
Got
weeks.
it. Oh, go ahead.
Friday.
I'm sorry.
Friday.
It's Friday. It's Friday, and that I read something the other day that the cases now are coming down to one or two, but it's not criminal charges. It's more civil. So it would be the avoidance of jail time and stuff like that. So you may just have to work through him possibly getting suspended by the NFL because they're their own police.
Well, to kind of speak to what you just said, there were reports out there that the Eagles sent a private investigator down there,
Right.
to really
How
see
he doing
what's
his due
going on.
diligence, yeah.
So it sounds like the Eagles could be pursuing Watson.
And what I would do is, you got 3 first-round draft picks. I would give up 2 to Houston, and then I would give up the 3rd first-round pick and go after Metcalf.
I would definitely use one of them picks to go after Metcalf.
Mm.
I would definitely do that. I don't know. I used to call him my cousin. I don't know if I'm ready for Watson. I don't know.
When he was on, he was the most accurate quarterback in the league.
He is a dynamic.
He's still young. He's one of the amongst the youngest in the league. There's so
about
much.
6 years in.
Yeah, he's like 25, 26, but that's young for an NFL
That's
quarterback.
prime. So he's
Right.
basically going into his prime.
So
but he's got a lot of mileage on him off the simple fact of playing in Houston.
Right, and then he's coming here and he has an offensive line. Now, granted, we lost Brooks to retirement. Kelsey's ready to retire, but even Kelsey's replacement looked good in some games. You got Mailata protecting his backside. Johnson may be ready to retire on the right side, but for the most part, it's still.
He hasn't been around that long, has he?
Who?
Lane Johnson.
Well, he came out last year and he had some mental. He had a mental break.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
So, but he's been around.
I know he missed a couple of seasons though. So yeah, I guess he replaced Runyon. So wow, yeah, I guess he has been around a while. Jeez, God.
So I think the situation would be better for him to flourish. Look at what he did without a line. Now imagine him with a line. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, I mean, I'm concerned about the legal issues.
mm.
I'm
and
concerned about.
that's what we have to find. That's the this month is the month to find out where that goes.
Yeah,
You know,
he's gonna get suspended for
at least
I,
the four.
I feel like at this point you
he's
gotta
going to get at
suspend
least 6. He
you
could
got
get 10.
you
Yeah,
you got to give him a year. You got to give him a year and let him appeal.
right.
And
Who?
here's why I say that. And Calvin Ridley tweeted it himself. You have all of these years. You have all of these guys who have a record of violence against women who get minimal games.
Yeah,
He gets suspended for betting $1,500 on FanDuel for an entire season.
double
There's
standard.
there's got to be there's got to be a precedent shift, and I think it's going to start with Deshaun Watson.
So here's my rebuttal to what you just said. While I agree with it, and put that out there. Here's my rebuttal to what you're saying. I'm going to assume there's a rule about gambling.
Of course,
I'm also going to assume, because we're talking about the NFL, that there's no specific rule about dealing with women.
of course.
That's why they get away with that. That's the only reason why they get because the NFL cares more about governing you and controlling you than they do about anybody else.
But
They
I
can
think now that they're
about
going
their
to
product more than anything else in this world.
when they talk about protecting the shield, and they talk right now, you see these commercials about betting on the games. You see players in the commercials about betting on games.
Mm-hmm.
But you see what happens when a player makes a bet. Now, I don't completely agree with the rules and the standards, but they are what they are. I can't say, hey, he didn't know, because he knew. Now, the facts were clear. He bet on his team. He pulled a Pete Rose. He bet on his team. He bet on his team to win. He was not playing. He wasn't suiting up. He wasn't on the field, so he had no impact on the integrity of the game. So, do I frown upon that? Yeah, because we know what the rule is. But do these rules in place? We had these rules in place at a time where the game was so far away from the gambling
I
and
see what
Las
you're getting at.
Vegas
I see what you're getting
and
at, and
and the
that's a valid point.
culture.
Everything is moving towards
Right.
gambling. They have you gambling in the casinos. They have casinos out. I'm
In
sorry, gambling in
in
the
the
stadium.
stadium.
They have you gambling in the stadium. They have casinos right outside the stadium, like here in
Outfitter,
Philly and
live
down in
casino.
Baltimore.
Yeah.
They got the same thing.
Yep.
And it's all about the gambling. These online casinos are sponsors too.
Right.
You know what I mean? So there's a lot. There has to be some type of change, or not. I mean, they don't have to really change. They can say no,
They,
don't
they
gamble.
don't have to. Right.
They don't have to change it. They can say you don't gamble, and you got to abide by it. But what
But
he
then they
should have
could
done,
also say, hey, if you punch a woman in the face, you're not going to play football
they
anymore.
should put that out there too.
Yeah, they should. There's a code of conduct that every job has. They can apply that to this situation.
But see, I feel like that. You all right over there?
Yeah. I was just
I
putting
feel
something
like
down.
I feel like um, the code of conduct for the NFL is across the board. You get in a fight with a woman, you get in a fight with a man, same suspension.
Agreed.
It should be harsh. It should be more harsh if they get in a fight with a woman.
Agreed.
It just should be. That's just how I feel about it. It should be more
Agreed.
harsh.
Oh no, I
Um,
completely agree.
Speaking of women, no, let me not do that.
Don't go there.
That's can we go there?
Speaking of women, it's Women's Month. March is Women's Month, so shout out to all the ladies, all the women out there.
Did it anyway.
And in Women's Month, what? It's Women's Month.
Yeah.
And March is a special month because you have March Madness, the basketball tournament. You have it's like you have the NBA getting right into their home stretch, into their grind mode.
March 10th.
And one game in particular tomorrow night, the Sixers taking on the Nets. Nets coming to Philly, and the return of Ben Simmons to Philadelphia. The story is that Ben Simmons will be in the building, sitting on the bench with the Nets.
I have a reserved comment.
You do that
for FCC purposes.
So we can either talk about Ben Simmons returning to Philly, or we can answer a couple trivia questions.
I vote trivia. I'm not in the mood for Ben tonight.
Ryan?
You know what? I'm a guest, so whatever. I'm a guest, so whatever the leaders of the house.
So we are going to do both. We're going to do both, and I know that we are short on time, so I'm going to make this quick. Quick statement on Ben Simmons. He comes back to Philly. What happens? Is he get booed beyond relief, or is the crowd chant, "Thanks for Harden"? What happens?
I want to see this tribute video that everybody talking about.
It's not going to be one.
I want to see it. I want to see
it. I've heard that it's been confirmed that there will not be a tribute video.
I want them to show a video that contains those airball free throws. I want them to show a video that contains the not going up on the layup, the
pass.
I need to see those things in the stadium. That's what I want to see.
They said Thibault cussed him out in Australian after that pass too.
I can
Miguel.
I'm waiting for the fallout from all this. I want to see how he uses it to further bash, to use it as a ploy, not a ploy, but a defense as to his mental state, and then how to translate that to the world as another, here's why Philly's bad moment.
Well, they've already lined it up, and the report came out this afternoon that Ben Simmons and Clutch were preparing to use whatever came out of this return trip to Philly in their grievance.
Right.
And I thought that was amazing because it's like, all right, we planned this. We know what's going to happen.
Let me tell you something. We've all seen enough Sixers games. We've all seen enough Philadelphia sports games to know whether you played for Philadelphia or not. If you are a star player coming into our buildings, you are getting lambasted with boos, whether we love you or not.
This particular instance will be worse than when Michael Irvin got cheered for breaking his neck on the field.
He did not get cheered.
He did not get booed for breaking when he broke his neck. That was not towards
It was cheers.
It
was cheers.
What happened?
It was cheers.
Now he's gonna talk about Santa Claus, and he's gonna talk about batteries.
It was cheers when Michael Irvin broke his neck.
Narrative against my city.
Cheers.
No.
But we're going to move on. I'm going to give one question to each of you, and then Miguel is going to stump me again with some random person he picked out of sports history.
The answer is 7.
You're right. So with this, let me get this person out of here because they're putting nonsense into our thing. You're out of here, buddy. All right, here we go.
Russia, Ukraine.
Ryan, first question for you, basketball. Do you accept the basketball topic?
I accept. Stump the
Do you
Swami.
want a question that's worth 1 point, 2 points, or 3 points?
I'm
just
a
guessing
long
that's
distance
the level
shooter,
of
so
art.
give me a 3. Give me a 3.
3-point question. Here we go. Oh, this is easy. He gonna get this one. This is easy. Who was the first overall? It's multiple choice. Let me know if you even need the multiple answers. Who was the first overall pick in the 1984 NBA draft when Michael Jordan was chosen third by the Chicago Bulls?
Oh,
Ooh. Do you want the multiple choice?
Yes.
Multiple choice: Charles Barkley, Sam Bowie, Ralph Sampson, Akeem Olajuwon.
Sam Bowie.
Sam Bowie is incorrect.
He was the number 2 pick.
Sam Bowie was number 2. Number
What
1
was it?
pick was Akeem Olajuwon.
Akeem Olajuwon.
Why did
Yes.
I was thinking Patrick Ewing for some, but
Uh,
that was another. That
you
was
know
another
what?
guy.
I said Akeem Olajuwon in my head, and then I said Sam Bowie was in front of Michael Jordan, and I just spit out Sam Bowie. I knew it was Akeem Olajuwon.
Because Jordan was like what, 6th or 7th, right?
He was
Third.
third
He was
pick.
third pick.
He was 3rd pick. Okay.
Yep.
Barkley was like 6th or something like that.
Yeah.
Miguel, football. Do you accept that topic?
No, I'll take it. I'll take it.
Okay.
He's like, find me a baseball card. Find me a baseball card.
Here we go. You want a 1 point, 2 point, 3 point question?
Let's go 3.
3-point question.
You just put the answers in the screen on the back of it.
I know, but they're not the answers to these questions.
Okay.
They're flipped. I saw that too. I was like, oh, that's not the answer. I looked real quick.
Here we go. Which player caught 14 of Peyton Manning's 55 touchdown passes in 2013 to tie a Denver Broncos record? Also a multiple choice question.
Give me the multiple choice because I think there's 2.
Say again.
I wish I could have had that question.
Give me the multiple choice because I thought
Multiple choice. Here we go. Your choices are Eric Decker, Demaryius Thomas, Julius Thomas, Wes Welker.
wow, not any of who I thought. Was it Demaryius Thomas?
Demaryius Thomas is correct for 3 points. Good job.
And I will tell you this. So it actually was just one of the big points that they talked about when Demaryius Thomas just passed.
Yeah.
Yeah. That as soon as I saw it, I immediately thought of that one. I was like, okay.
All right, here we go. I'm trying to make this quick as possible.
Oh, that's easy. I got that one.
5-time NBA All-Star, Hall of Famer, 5-time All-NBA, 93-94 Rookie of the Year, 98 TRB champ. What's TRB?
Total rebounds. I got this one.
Oh, yeah, I got it. It's Chris Webber.
Bam.
The Webb. I was going to say, hey, all you got to do is hit 5.
Look who's defending him on the timeout. That legendary George Lynch.
George Lynch. Yep, that was the George Lynch, Eric Montross, North Carolina Tar Heels. There we go. I got it pretty quick that time.
See, ever since I told you to start saying it, would you just say it?
So you know what? You know what gave it away for me?
The 84.
The 84.
Who was the 84 for?
Prior to today, I didn't know he wore 84 ever.
There were only who in the world is that in the chat? There's only been a handful of players that have ever worn outrageous numbers like that. So when I think of the Ron Artest, I think of the Dennis Rodmans.
I just don't remember Chris Webber wearing that.
Yeah.
Well, with that being said, we're going to get up out of here. We appreciate all of y'all for hanging out with us here on the Check Swing Podcast. Once again, please come back and hang out with us next Wednesday as we tackle some more topics as to what's going on in the sports world. But for Miguel, for Rey Baseball, and for myself, we appreciate y'all hanging out with us. We'll talk to y'all next time. We out of here. Peace.